sites that they go to on a daily basis to look stuff up. You know, everyone's getting sick of that, and I get 50 to 100 emails a week from collectors to major toy magazines asking me for photos. It's driving me crazy, you know? I'd rather just be like, here, take it, you know? You don't have to pay for it, just here, there you go. Use it. And it's going to be, you know, G.I. Joe from 1982 all the way up to modern. I've just finished, you know, like Star Wars. My God, I finished the vinyl minifigure storage cases and the variants and stickers and the variants and trays and the Return of the Jedi Darth Vader head and the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader head and all the different inserts. I'm trying to make it as comprehensive as possible. Go ahead.
Just had a thought. I noticed a while ago on Facebook when I was uploading a bunch of pictures, it would say, "Who is this?" And I type in Mark, right? So it's like 20 pictures of you.
Right.
And then it would identify every picture of you saying, yeah, here's Mark, here's his profile, automatically doing it. What if you had something where on your website where people could submit a picture of piece X that did recognition software? They could say, yeah, piece X, this links over to the Coastal Defender. Tag it. Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. Does anyone know how to do that?
I mean, the software's out there because Facebook can...
Yeah, I'm working with guys who can do that stuff for me. And I think that's, you know what, that's a really important point, particularly when dealing with, who owns a store here, who's worked at a toy store or owns an action figure or toy store? When you get a bin of parts in from 80s action figures, you can't identify Rambo parts from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle parts, from Mantech parts. It would be nice to be able to scan an image. It's a great idea. I didn't even think of it. It'd be nice to be able to scan an image, throw it in there. What's up?
I want some royalty.
Okay. See, I'm not making money off this. I'm losing money. So 0 times 0 equals what times? No, I would never. No, but I think there's a way to build that, and I think there's a way to make it work.
Yeah.
You know, if all the pieces are scanned in and you send an image in, I think it'll work. I think that's a great idea. But what do you want to see? I'm trying to set up. Go ahead.
Universal search box, upper right corner. Type in anything, and it gives you your figure that you're looking for. I notice Yojo doesn't have this. I want to look up Zanzibar. I have to go through 3 different links.
Yes.
And that sucks.
Yeah, I just use Google. I do like the name of the character and then Yojo, and then use Google to get me to where it is instead of having to go through.
Okay, so you just want like a universal search box, and what I want to happen is, you type in. Let's say let's go with casual fans first. Let's say you're a casual fan and you type in Luke Skywalker, or even better, you're a casual comic book fan and you type in Superman. What I want to happen is I want a list of Captain Action Superman outfit 1966, Type 1 Superman solid box stirrup pants, Type 1, I want Mego figures, I want a link to come up for Superpowers figures, I want, DC superheroes figures, I want it to come up like that. I want it to be a site that you'll be able to get to something very easily. And of course there has to be a universal search box.
I'm a professional web developer, and I'll say if you have interest in like what you want to show up first in search results, make sure you talk to your developers sooner rather than later about weighting search results.
About what? Weighting. Yes.
So this Superman page has a higher weight than another one, and you want it to show up first. It's easy to do when you design it from the beginning. Tacking it on at the end, it's expensive.
Okay. Yeah, I have a buddy who's doing this for me, who's like a CTO of like 3 internet companies. So I paid him a flat rate, and he's like, "I'll work for 2 years on this. I don't care." So I'm very lucky.
That's nice. So I wouldn't want this to be just like the Yojo for all toy lines. What I would like is Internet Movie Database, where you've got trivia, you've got like, so here's your Duke figure, here's the production scale, here's a 2-up of it.
Okay.
Here's
I'm going to address that by saying, I cut out 250,000 words of the second edition of the Ultimate Guide to G.I. Joe. I cut 275,000 words out of the 80s toy book that I just did. So anything that's been excised, any article I've ever written, any word I've ever written about toys is going to be there. And I really, again, I want it to be, if there's an article with Don Bluth it was a Master of the Universe guy talking about the original mini comics. If you type in one of the names of the original 8 Master of the Universe figures, I want at the bottom of that page, for more information on the mini comics, see that, you know, I want it to have everything. Has anyone ever seen the book, The Star Wars, I think it's the Action Figure Archive? It's the silver book that Sansweet did years and years ago. It's a great looking book where he actually has Lucasfilm archive photos next to action figures. I really want it to have everything there. I want it to have as much as possible. Yeah, I'm going to get criticized for this. I'm not going to have a lot of box art. I'm not. And I'm not going to take it from anyone else. It's going to be basically a loose action figure guide for 160 different toy lines.
If you do this, isn't it going to possibly cut into the sales on the books?
Don't really care. No, you know what? I'm thinking about that, and people who are going to buy books are going to buy books. I mean, Yojo doesn't cut into my sales. Transformerland.com doesn't cut into my sales. Rebel Scum doesn't cut into my sales. Tollback doesn't cut into my sales. You know, but I really don't care. Because this is going to be as much for me as it is for other people. Who cares? I mean, you know, I'm getting screamed at by Krause for doing this. They're like, don't do this. They're like, we'll give you I don't care. It needs to be done. Because I'm getting sick of going to 20 different websites a week. And some of these aren't complete. Like, I'm going to GoBot sites where they don't have any accessories, they don't even know the name. I'm going to a Rock Lord site, I'm like, it's the wrong weapon. What is going on here? You know, this stuff has to be legitimized somehow. And if I have to buy a sealed sample and open it up to do it, I don't care.
I mean, you're trying to sell your site as like the end-all and be-all of, let's say, action figure resources. However, you're saying, well, I'm not going to do international, and I'm not going to have much packaging art.
Yes.
So that means if I want to see the Tiger Force figures from Europe or whatever it is, or Chinese Major Blood,
Yes.
I have to go to another site.
Yes.
Which then ask the question then, like, what is the purpose of your site? Then it's going to be a niche again. It's not going to be, you can't sell it as
Oh, I think it's going to be for domestic
it's
product.
going to be, it'll be your little niche thing for, you know.
I'm fine
loose
with
action.
that. I'm okay with that.
Okay, but then you're still not solving the problem that you're saying that this is going to solve, which is like going, you know.
Well, it's solving it domestically, I think.
Yeah,
It's solving it domestically. You know, honestly, my goal is to help domestic collectors, and it's to help local stores dump out a box of parts on a table and be able to piece them up. Because the odds of them having an RG7 accessory in that box are 0 out of 0. I understand. I absolutely understand what you're saying. But the odds of finding a laser beast weapon or coming across that stuff is very, very, very rare. Unless you're a high-end collector. You know, I don't think I've ever come across a laser beast weapon in my life. Just like, oh, casually, here it comes. I understand. I absolutely understand. Go ahead.
You can't include foreign, because I collect the high-end foreign stuff. There's stuff out there you'll never get, basically.
And that's the problem. Here, when you get into high-end stuff, not only can I not afford it, I don't think I can find it.
No, the Venezuelan stuff, there's like those figures as well. Good luck trying to get those.
But then the question becomes, you know what? Let's say I start running banner ads. I can always, as much as I hate doing it, I think it's a legitimate question that you're raising. Maybe I can contact one of my friends who has all that stuff and say, you know, I don't feel this website is complete. Lend me some photos. You know, because it is a concern. I agree. It is a concern. You know, the dinosaur cassettes for Transformers. I don't have them. I'm going to get them eventually, but until I have them, what's going to be in that spot? I understand that it's a legitimate concern. Did someone else? Go ahead.
Does domestic include Canada?
I don't, what do you mean?
Like the Sears pack?
Yes. Sure. North America. Because then we're going to get in Mexico. I can't. I'm going to say domestic right now. I'm going to say domestic right now. And I think, you know, I can expand that eventually. But I think it's a legitimate concern because, you know, man, that Tiger Force Blizzard is fantastic. And that Tiger Force Outback, you know, I have it. just because it's one of the coolest figures ever made. But, you know, is it necessary? You know, I've always thought that my philosophy, the reason why I don't include that stuff is in my books is because I have 256 pages to incorporate, you know, to get all that stuff together. Plus, I find that because these books are generally sold in the United States in Barnes & Nobles and Borders and Walden Books, I used to get comments when I initially said, let's put foreign figures in there, like, aren't you going to be teasing domestic fans? Aren't you going to be teasing them? If you include your Star Saber and Victory Leo in your Transformers book, and people can't get that, what are you doing to those people? But then again, when I do the 3rd edition of the G.I. Joe book, I have the Penny's 3-pack dark green bazooka that came with the Cobra Soldier. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The really rare dark green bazooka that came with the 3-pack. I just picked that up recently, and I'll put it in the 3rd edition of the guide. It was released domestically for a very limited time, so it'll be. But, you know, it's a legitimate concern. What do you want to see on a page? When you click on Snake Eyes, what do you want to see on that page?
No more Snake Eyes, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Are you guys, you want to just... When people type in Snake Eyes, you guys want like a middle finger to come up?
Yes,
Rickroll people for like just forever. Go ahead, go ahead.
132,300.
No, that's you.
Okay. If you really do want this to be the most comprehensive,
I want it to be comprehensive. I've
Why
never
not a
said
wiki?
that. Go ahead. Why not a wiki? I talk with many people about that, and the way I want it to be set up, to be honest, it looked too ghetto. It just did. It looked too ghetto. It wasn't as streamlined. It couldn't hold the design that I wanted it to hold. I'm just being honest. Go ahead.
Back to your Snake Eyes and then any Joe figure that has more than a dozen different versions of that. Just an easier way to, I don't know, maybe a thumbnail or something like that.
We're going to have to go with thumbnails.
Yeah.
Yeah, listing it is not going to be, listing it is not working.
Now when I go through party stuff out, I know it came out in 2008, and there's like 9 versions.
It's very,
Each one till I find one, and it's
particularly with G.I. Joe and with modern Star Wars stuff, we're going to have thumbnails. And it'll be thumbnails, little thumbnails with text underneath it. We have to go with thumbnails because nothing's more frustrating than there being a list and you're like, all right, I have to click on 25 things to find what I want.
Yeah, it gets
Because
really
10 Snake Eyes
redundant.
came out in 2004, and I have no idea which one it is. You click, go back, and click, and press. Yes. We have to go with thumbnails. It's the only thing we can do.
Rebel Scum does something with like similar figures.
And you can mention websites like that because I've looked at all of them before I've done this. Go ahead.
They take similar molds that have been released multiple times or different variations of the same character and do a comparison picture. That's something nobody else does.
I can't wait to do that. And furthermore, I can't wait to do like Master of the Universe Classics. I can't wait to take a shot of the original He-Man next to the Classics He-Man. Like, as I'm going to be hiring, student workers to do a lot of this work for me, I can't wait to just literally line up all the Snake Eyes next to each other in a photo and just, keep adding and
Probably
dropping.
go across the damn room.
No,
Need a
just-
wide-angle lens.
Regardless,
Or a couple levels.
There's certain things that we've never seen online that it's going to cost this thing's going to cost me like $400, $500 a month just to maintain. So there are going to have to be banner ads to maintain it. But I don't want to go too crazy, and I don't want it to be a pay site. What do you guys, tell me, what do you guys want to see? This is your chance. You're action figure collectors. I'm going to put down what I want. If you don't say anything, I don't care.
Ponies.
What?
My Little Pony.
My Little Ponies will be in there. Absolutely. Strawberry Shortcake will be in there. Hey, don't knock it. The Berry Happy Home is one of the finest plays that's ever made.
You get convention stuff. Like, for example, there was a new Law and Order show at Toy Fair this year.
Okay.
To include it in Law and Order's page before the figure even comes out. So I look at the 87 Law and Order, Sonic one, and oh cool, there's one coming in 2011. So it's all together.
Well, you don't want to be like data viper.
I didn't understand that, and I apologize. I woke up at like 3:45 this morning, and I've had 4 cups of coffee. So let's do that again.
All right, include preview photos by released figures in the section for that figure.
Okay, I would like to do that, but that would create more work for me, because ideally what I want to be